we are going to be ranking every Pokemon in Pokemon Unite from strongest to weakest at their strongest. Does that make sense? Hi traders, I'm Tees, this is Nuts, and today we have a tier list that's going to be for fun. So we have all of these Pokemon here. What I mean from at their strongest is like when this Pokemon was literally at its strongest. You might not remember how strong they were, you might not have been here for how strong they were, but I'll explain it a little bit so you can understand. This is also going from my memory as well, and I might maybe mess up a little bit, but I would love to know in the comments down below which Pokemon of all time do you think was the strongest ever in Pokemon Unite. I'd love to know in the comments. Feel free to subscribe and click the bell to be notified for more videos just like this one, and like it if you enjoy it. Okay, so we have uninstall because they literally make me want to uninstall and not play from how strong they are. Surrender. I'm anti-surrender, but for legal reasons this is a joke because some of you came at me last time for this joke, but I would surrender as a joke. Somehow I survived. They were strong, but I still survived it. It's okay. Literally, it's okay.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I don't feel a thing. At their strongest, they weren't that strong. Okay, let's jump into it. Oh, first we have the classic Absol. 100%. We're going to... It's tough. Okay, it's tough. Don't get me wrong. Absol is strong, but I don't know if I want to put it in surrender or uninstall. Surrender or uninstall? It depends. It depends who I'm playing, I think. I think uninstall. Absol right now is really OP. It can literally one-shot Pokemon, and you might be like, oh, but Absol isn't a speedster. It's supposed to. It's so squishy. It's supposed to one-shot. No, it's not. It's not supposed to one-shot Pokemon. I don't think there should be a Pokemon that can do that to you and not give you time to react to it, like at all. I don't think that's okay, in my opinion. So yeah. I'm gonna say uninstall. Ninetales. So Ninetales at its strongest didn't make me rage. It was so strong, I remember, but somehow I survived. It was super strong, but I still survived it. I remember when Ninetales was S tier, there was a time back in like season 1, Ninetales was insane. The amount of control it had, crowd control, everything. It was crazy. It was crazy. Blastoise at its strongest was definitely an uninstall. Blastoise was one of the defenders, the only defender, maybe like one of the very few Pokemon that could literally 1v5 a team, do so much damage, tank so much damage. It was ridiculous. No Pokemon should be able to never die and also be able to take out the whole team, like at all. And that's what Blastoise was. It was scary. Greninja. Greninja at its strongest, definitely a surrender. Don't get me wrong, Greninja was insane to go against. It's definitely between uninstall and surrender, but I found that every time the enemy team or my team had a Greninja, it wasn't like I didn't have fear. I didn't feel like complete fear, but when the Greninja was doing really well in the game and they were just destroying me, then yes, I felt fear. But Greninja still felt like it was able to be punished, even though it was at its strongest. Like it felt like it was still able to like take it down if we focused it properly. So at its strongest, I would say Greninja was probably a surrender. Pikachu. Somehow I survived. So Pikachu at its strongest was also really scary. Its Unite move, having that cooldown be so low was insane. Back when the game was much more new, Pikachu also felt more scary because like Electro Ball and the web move, Electro Web, it was just crazy. So Pikachu at its strongest was, you know, I survived. It was very strong, but I still survived. Blissey. Okay, so with Blissey's really strong right now, and I would say I don't feel a thing in terms of like if I was 1v1ing a Blissey, I don't feel a thing. But that's the thing with Blissey, right? Blissey, you would like have it at uninstall if it was paired up with Absol, if it was paired up with Greninja, if it was paired up with another Pokemon, then at this time Blissey would be uninstall. However, because I'm just talking about the Pokemon, if it was by itself and I was fighting by myself, I will have to put Blissey in I don't feel a thing. But paired up with a Pokemon, it's definitely uninstall. Charizard at its strongest. So Charizard never really had, I don't think at least, never had a moment where it was like crazy, that's S tier. Charizard I don't think has been S tier before, correct me if I'm wrong. However, in its Unite move, I want to uninstall. Literally, while it's uniting me, I literally want to just close my game, uninstall. But I am not a grieving player, so I don't do that. However, in general, I would say somehow I survived because when it's on its Unite move, it's not as bad. It's still annoying to go against. It was still strong, but it was not as bad. Cinderace is up there with Greninja, Surrender. So Cinderace, I actually was more scared of Cinderace more than I was scared of Greninja for a bit. Like if I had to like put all of my fear into a meter meter, Cinderace would have a higher meter. Really good Cinderaces were insane to go against, but just like Greninja, I felt like I was still able to punish it if it made mistakes. It didn't one-shot me most of the time, I think. I don't know if I've been one-shotted by a Cinderace. I feel like I have, but I don't know. But like, you know, with Absol, you can escape. It can one-shot you. It can one-shot your whole team, multiple people, like not just one target, multiple people. It's just crazy. But Cinderace felt very single targeted for the most part, depending what you picked up. And yeah. Cramorant at its strongest is an uninstall. Okay, maybe for you it might not be, but Cramorant, for a time, they had to nerf Cramorant to the ground. And even right now, like Cramorant players, Dive Cramorant is the bane of my existence. The bane of my existence. I think this Pokemon probably, I think I feel the most fear from Cramorant in general. Even though like right now it's not like super strong or anything, it still scares the heck out of me. It's that residue fear with Cramorant. That's what I feel. So with Cramorant, I would definitely uninstall at its strongest. It could secure farm like no matter, and it was insane. Crustle at its strongest was uninstall. Does anyone remember how Crustle could just take you out? It could create. Crustle is what Absol is if Absol was a defender. That's what Crustle is. X-Scissor Crustle was not fun. It was not a fun time. I didn't enjoy it. I don't want to be there again. Decidueye at its strongest, it's okay. The thing with Decidueye is that Razor Leaf to me has never been like, Razor Leaf on paper is scary as heck. However, Decidueye has to be super close to use Razor Leaf, so it's easy to take out Decidueye. The Unite move is not that scary at all. Spirit Shackle is freaky. It's freaky. It's scary, but like I've come across more Decidueyes in my games who don't hit me as much, so they miss a bit more. But if you have a Decidueye who can hit all of their Spirit Shackles, then yeah, it's scary. But Decidueye to me is a harder Pokemon to play. It does insane damage, but it is a harder Pokemon to play. So if I was going against an insanely good Decidueye, I would definitely put it in Surrender. However, for the most part, I don't have Decidueye, just I don't know. It's okay. I love Decidueye though, and I'm not trying to be mean. Eldegoss at its strongest was a Surrender, between Surrender or Somehow I Survived, but I would say Surrender maybe. So I don't know if you were around for this, but I actually got to Master with using Eldegoss, like from Ultra 1 to Master. I did that in literally like 13-15 games. I don't remember how many games it was. I played like 13 to 15 games on Eldegoss and I got to Master because they buffed the crap out of Eldegoss. It all of a sudden grew muscular arms and was buff as heck. That's what happened to Eldegoss, and it was literally like destroying everyone on the enemy team. I was shook. I still have that video up, so I will put it down below if you want to check that out. But Eldegoss was crazy. Garchomp at its strongest was it's okay. It's the problem with Garchomp. There are players who are super extremely good at Garchomp. I don't get to go against these players a lot, but I have watched videos of like Garchomp players like doing insane things to like, you know, to the enemy team. That's what I was trying to say. So Garchomp, if you can stick onto your target and keep up with them and stay on them, Garchomp is insane. It's crazy. This is one of the few Pokemon that I think that if they buff it wrong, it could easily be an S tier Pokemon. It could easily be like the most high tier, top tier Pokemon. Garchomp is crazy. I can't deal with Garchomp. Gardevoir at its strongest is a Surrender. Gardevoir, when it was first released, wasn't insanely crazy or anything. A lot of people actually complained. I actually have like one of my highest win rates on Pokemon Unite is with Gardevoir before it was buffed, so which is crazy to me. I'm just like, wow, I did that. But Gardevoir is insane. When they buffed Gardevoir, it was, I just wanted to curl up into a ball and cry. I mean, I did do that, I guess. Next we have Gengar. Gengar at its strongest. I don't know if you trainers know this, but Gengar at its strongest, uninstall. So other times nowadays, Gengar's still very scary, and you know, it's not as bad, I would say, from how it was. So Gengar used to be a Hex, like Hex was like the thing, and Gengar was able to take out teams easier than Blastoise. Completely, they didn't take any damage either because Hex at the time had a longer invincibility frame thing. Like there was a time in the animation where Gengar was invincible. So you could keep hexing and not take any damage, not be crowd controlled, not anything. You just had free reign over the whole match, and it wasn't like uncommon for Gengars to have like 20-30 takedowns. It was the easiest moveset ever. It was just throw your sludge bomb, hex, 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 hex. I hate it. I don't like it. I still love you, Gengar, but I hate it that time because I didn't play you yet. But I love Dream Eater, so Dream Eater is my jam. Greedent at its strongest was between surrender or uninstall. I had mixed opinions about this, but generally Greedent was very powerful. I mean, technically we all somehow survived because this Pokemon was so strong for so long, but I would say maybe uninstall. I think Greedent was an uninstall Pokemon. Greedent was insane. It just had so much health. It survived, it healed, it ran away. You could never catch it. Every time I played against a Greedent, it was a different game that I was playing. I wasn't playing Pokemon Unite. I was playing Chase the Greedent, but you never won. Because you can never catch Greedent. It was unstoppable too, so like you couldn't stop Greedent from running around. I don't like that. I'm getting flashbacks right now. Lucario at its strongest was uninstalled. There was a lot of times when Lucario just did so much damage for no reason. Lucario right now is still annoying to go against. I hate going against Lucario, but at its strongest, it was worse. It was at least 5% better than it is now because the nerfs don't do anything. No, but there was times when like the bug and everything, like if we include bugs, Lucario could literally one-shot people completely and it was so stupid. So Lucario at its strongest is definitely not installed. Machamp at its strongest, and Machamp right now is actually pretty strong. I would surrender. Machamp is insane. There was times when like Machamp was a very underrated Pokemon. It was super underrated, but it was so strong. I don't think people knew how strong Machamp was back then. But Machamp, when like submission was used more and stuff, it was so strong, and nothing was more scarier than having a Machamp run at you. You just accept your fate. You just like, I wouldn't even try to run away. If I saw a Machamp running at me, I wouldn't even try to get up. I would just sit down and accept it. I'd just be like, okay, let's get this over and done with. It's not worth running back to base. It's better to just let Machamp KO you, so you spawn back at base. Mamoswine at its strongest is it's okay. So Mamoswine is very mixed for me. Like there are times where I just cannot take this Pokemon, but then there are times where I'm just like, it's fine. When I play Gengar, I hate going against Mamoswine. It's so hard. He just cancels my thing. He just gets me out of my groove. But like it's other Pokemon, depending who it is, like, you know, long-ranged Pokemon, for example, like distance Pokemon or tankier Pokemon, I generally just don't have that much of a problem with Mamoswine. So it's okay. At its strongest, it's okay. When it was first released, its moves were so extremely slow, but right now it's okay. Mr. Mime at its strongest. Oh my gosh. Does anyone remember this? Okay, let's put Mr. Mime. It's either, I think it's in Surrender. Oh, I didn't still actually, okay. Mr. Mime was one of the few Pokemon that I hated going against. Mr. Mime, I think it's called Confusion and the Wall ability. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really play Mr. Mime, but Mr. Mime players could one-shot / two-shot you as a supporter. What? It could do that, and it was insane. It was so crazy. I hated it. It has such a low damage rating, but it was a lie. Its damage was extremely high. They have nerfed the heck out of it now. It's not as bad now, but back then at its strongest, Mr. Mime haunts me. It's not fun. Slowbro at its strongest was somehow I survived. So Slowbro is actually used to be my main defender, funny enough. So there was an ability on Slowbro. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I don't remember it as well either, but it was back either like in season 1 or in beta days. I don't remember. I think it was season 1, but Slowbro's surf I think lasted longer, and it CC'd you. Like you would just bounce up like 3 times. I think like go boop boop boop, and you couldn't do anything. And Slowbro and the team, which could just take you out, and they nerfed that because they found it too strong, and now the surf is not as like crazy now. But like back then, back then it would turn beach lovers into beach haters. It would. Snorlax at its strongest. This is hard. This is a very hard one, trainers. It's either somehow I survived or surrender. It's one of these two. So I will put it here for now, but like I think this is where it can belong. But maybe no, surrender. So Snorlax, who used to be the best defender of all time in Pokemon Unite, then Blastoise came along and really gave it a run for its spot. They did 2 completely different things though, but the thing is that Blastoise could before, I don't know if he can now, I don't think so because they got rid of his Unstoppable, but before, I'm pretty sure at least, I tested this a long time ago, but his Unstoppable could go through Snorlax's block, and Blastoise could just do everything it wanted behind Snorlax while it was blocking. But like the jump thing that Snorlax does, where it jumps on you and knocks you up, insanity. Don't like it, don't want to deal with it, please get rid of it. I'm kidding. And the block was so annoying as well because I was not the best player, and sometimes I would just keep running into it. Like, let me in, let me in. Flaillax is also it's insane. Like, I don't know why. When you hear that little boop, 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 and it's running at you, Snorlax is so cute, but when it's running, that was the most terrifying thing. So yeah, I think Surrender. Sylveon at its strongest. I didn't feel a thing, honestly. Sylveon at its strongest, like, I did not feel a thing. I think it was extremely weak. I think that Hyper Voice didn't one-shot enemies enough, honestly. I think Sylveon, when enemies looked at Sylveon, it should have just been insta-KO'd. That's how I think. I'm kidding. Obviously uninstall. What the heck? If I don't know if you trainers were around for this, but Sylveon was insane back in, like, when it was first released. They nerfed that Pokemon in 2 days. 2 days. Talonflame at its strongest, Surrender. Talonflame had the, like, capability to, like, destroy you. Fly is insane as well, and it's just crazy. The Unite move though, like, not a lot of Talonflames like that I played against landed that. Can relate. I don't either, but Talonflame I would say is a Surrender kinda vibe, you know. Venusaur. So Venusaur, when it's at its strongest, Petal Dance and Giga Drain. Insane. They also nerfed its, like, I think it was passive or something. Like, it used to be more defensive. It could tank more. Back then, Venusaur could, like, deal so much damage, survive. It was so fast. You could not escape from Venusaur. Its basic attack is also hecka stupid. So Venusaur for me is either in uninstall or surrender. The thing is I don't have, like, insane scary flashbacks with this one, so I think I'm gonna put in surrender. I always do it with Pokemon that I have insane scary flashbacks with an uninstall, but Venusaur I would say surrender. It was scary. Wigglytuff at its strongest, uninstall. I hated going against Wigglytuff. I hated loading into a game, see that they have a Wigglytuff, and I was like, dang, I'm in bottom lane, so I have to deal with that. I don't like top lane. Top lane's not my favorite lane to go. I like to go bottom or center. But when Wigglytuff was meta, when it was S tier, when it was at its strongest, top lane was my favorite. I love top lane. I made merch for top lane. I had shirts that said, I love top lane. I just did not want to go against Wigglytuff. Zeraora. Zeraora at its strongest. So I've always disagreed with this, and maybe it's just me, but like Zeraora to me, Zeraora was like the original one-shot Pokemon to me before Absol, before Gengar. Zeraora to me was able to one-shot Pokemon for so long. They took a long time to nerf Zeraora. It got the Lucario treatment. It was crazy. I think it's because Zeraora was like a free Pokemon and because it was like a mythical. So maybe that's why they didn't want to nerf it. But Zeraora back then... Oh boy, I'm so glad you didn't have to see that. I do want to buff a Zeraora now, not to the one-shot times, but I want it to be better now, like maybe earlier levels. Still not fun. Not fun. The Unite move and Discharge was insane. Like, you couldn't take down Zeraora. It could literally easily 1v5. It secured objectives. It was just crazy. Serena at its strongest, uninstall. That Pokemon was insane. It could survive, heal. You couldn't take it out. I hate being united by Serena. It was crazy. Serena is that meme that goes around now. What is it called? Girl boss, gaslight, gatekeep. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the meme is, but like Serena is not fun to go against. I don't like it. Like, you do you, queen, but I don't like it. Dragonite at its strongest, I would say somehow I survived. I didn't feel like Dragonite, like the thing that I found really strong about Dragonite, and like it's really strong right now as well in the meta, and Hyper Beam is insane, but like I feel like I can still survive against Dragonite. I somehow survived it. I survived Dragonite. The Unite me for like sneaking in the back for like the enemy's goal zones or base or whatever to score was crazy. Like, I hated that strat, but it was a strat. I still survived it though, so I'm gonna say it was somehow I survived. Aegislash at its strongest makes me want to uninstall. Right now Aegislash is insane. It just goes zing zing zing, and like those sounds, I would say I hate those sounds the most. If you ask me what sounds do you hate the most, I don't know, maybe that. I don't know if anyone asks people questions like that. Like, I don't know how you would bring that up in casual conversation, like, hey, how are you? Okay, that's good. What sounds do you hate? This is why I have no friends. But Aegislash, insane. I think I've said insane like a billion times. We should have an insane counter. An extra question of the day. If you can accurately count how many insanes I have, I will, I don't know, we can play a game together if you want, but I don't know if you care enough to play with me. Duraludon at its strongest, I would say surrender. It was super strong. I hated going against it, but I didn't want to uninstall. I was okay with it for the most part. Flash Cannon though, zing, 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 so loud. My ears would uninstall. I would uninstall for my ears. Hooper. So Hooper is insanely strong right now as well. However, going against a Hooper by myself, I personally don't have an issue. I don't feel a thing. Just like Blissey. Hooper's in the same boat as Blissey. These two Pokemon are both S tier Pokemon, by the way, but in 1v1s, I just don't struggle. But the the way Hooper makes you want to uninstall is when he brings all of these people with them. That's when you want to install. However, it's just like a one-on-one thing. I'm going to assume in this 1v1 Hooper doesn't have their Unite move up. I don't feel the thing. Trevenant at its strongest, I would say somehow I survived. However, going against Trevenant, I didn't survive. Trevenant survived. I didn't survive. So this is the thing. Trevenant does so much damage. It doesn't burst though, but like people love to fight Trevenant for some reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe they hate the environment. Bad joke. But I don't know what it is. They just love to fight Trevenant. Trevenant just doesn't die, but it can still take you out. It's a very long fight. But I would say somehow I survived. It's strong, but I can still survive against Trevenant in my matches. Sometimes. Azumarill at its strongest, I'm so sorry, but I don't feel a thing, or it's okay. It's between these two. I think I don't feel a thing. I have not struggled against a single Azumarill yet. I am sure there are really good players at Azumarill, but in the Azumarills that I've played against, I don't generally feel. There was one Azumarill that I went against that, really made me question my sanity for a little bit, but it still wasn't like these levels, so, I didn't really feel a thing. Espeon at its strongest, I don't feel a thing. So with Espeon, I think Espeon's release was not the best release. I don't think it's very strong. The damage doesn't feel like it hurts me that much. So with Espeon, I would say right now, I don't think it's had its strongest point yet, like the real strongest point, I feel like Espeon at some point will be meta, but right now not right now, but like at its strongest, I just didn't really struggle with Espeon. Last one we have is Delphox. This is a bit tricky. So Delphox is an interesting one. Delphox to me doesn't feel like crazy scary to go against, but when I see that it's Tornado running to me, I just hate it. I want to uninstall when I'm inside Fire Spin, but generally against Delphox, I would say somehow I survived. It does have an insanely strong Unite move though, with like the anti-heal and everything. Great for team fights, but I would say somehow I survived Delphox. Okay, so that is all for this tier list. Thank you so much for watching. Try to tell me in the comments down below who you think was the strongest Pokemon ever that you have gone against and the weakest Pokemon at its strongest point for you. So for me, I would say it's between Gengar, Lucario, Cramorant, Zeraora, Mr. Mime, Blast. Okay, I'm just naming all of them. Thank you so much for watching, trainers. Subscribe and click the bell to be notified for the next video. Like the video if you enjoyed this, and I cannot wait to catch you for the next one. Bye!